just kind of get the most current status of a couple of the historic projects. I know you touched on it at the chamber meeting, but the Ker House, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. What's kind of happened for the Ker House? What's the next step for the Ker House?
Well, once we get the grant in January of 24 and get all the paperwork and everything signed, we'll start. We'll have to bid it out. The work that we're planning on doing, and part of the work's going to be a commercial kitchen and try to redo all the downstairs and make the bathrooms ADA accessible. And the long-term goal, once we get it rehab or restored, will be to put in we've got a group that is interested in doing something similar to the Rose Center in Morristown. They have worked with the Cosby and the Kingsport and the Tennessee Small Business Group to put a business plan together, which we attached to the grant. And but it's probably going to be the renovation we're looking at will probably take the grants for 3 years, so it'll probably take the whole 3 years to get that accomplished, and then start working with that group to put something in it. Our whole goal is to get the Ker House back on the tax roll. With it just sitting there and deteriorating, we're not gaining any benefit from it. So to be able to get it back on the tax rolls and keep it from deteriorating any more than what it already has.
Right. So the Rose Center, I've never heard of that. What do they do?
It's over in Morristown, and it's an Artisan center. They rent out rooms for different events and things. They have the commercial kitchen will be to help people. They can do canning. They can do different cooking activities. We foresee probably. I need to get the grant out, I guess, and look at exactly what all. But it'll be for people to come in and display their work. We'll have rooms available to rent out for that. We'll have a room rent out for special events. There'll be different activities that will involve using the commercial kitchen, cooking classes, just lots of different activities there.
Kind of an artistic community center type thing.
Similar, yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So, was it $500,000?
We got $300,000, and there's a match by the city and the county, which will make it a $600,000 project.
Okay. How much does each kick in?
Right now we're not sure because we're not sure if we're a distress or at-risk county. So if we're in a risk county, it's a 70-30 grant. So they'll give us the 70. The grant will be 70, and we'll have to do the 30.
Okay.
So we're looking around $150,000 from each one of the 150 from the city and 150 from the county.
Okay.
Of course, all that will have to be approved through the county commission and the Rogersville VMA. But that's all contingent on getting everything ready in January, and then it's a pay-as-you-go grant, so it won't be X dollars will have to be put out there. It'll as they do the work, then those invoices will be turned in, and the match for that amount will be used.
Okay. All right. So then you mentioned also that you all have acquired a grant for the interior renovation of the St. Mark's.
Yes, and this is the same grant, the historic preservation grant through the state of Tennessee and the Tennessee Main Street program. And the grant, what we're going to do at St. Mark's, of course, is going to be a co-working center. So we applied for the Tennessee Historic Preservation Grant, received it. We got about $300,000 with it, and it'll be the same thing, a 70-30 match. We also applied for a USDA grant, which will help us furnish the downstairs to put the co-workers group together.
Okay.
And what in it will be 4 office spaces that'll be we'll be able to rent out. Probably 2 of them we hope to rent out long term, and which will be a year at a time. The other 2, one of them will probably be on a weekly basis, and the other one will be on a 6-month basis.
Okay.
We'll also have 2 workspaces in there that you can go in and rent out for the day, and we'll be providing. You'll have your own computer, but we'll provide internet, of course, electricity, and all the utilities.
Infrastructure, I guess. Office infrastructure.
Yes, it'll have internet. They'll have a small kitchen for whatever they need, for coffee or snacks or whatever. If you're having a meeting there, we'll have a small conference area, and it'll also have what they call a soundproof booth. So if you don't want to be in that open working environment, then you can go into this booth, and it'll have a place to work confidential. If you need to make calls or whatever.
Okay. And the upstairs is going to be like a meeting area / venue,
Yes.
event venue
Yeah.
location.
Yes. It has the capability of seating about 200 people upstairs. So we're going to offer it also as a business venue. If you have a larger group that you just want to do some kind of presentation for or anything, it'll have the equipment upstairs to do that. It will have, then we're leaving the pulpit type raised stage there, and so you can do different event venues. We're hoping to do some, even be able to do weddings if any kind of event that you would be interested in doing.
Right.
Kind of our there is to have the wedding there, because a lot of people want to do a church wedding, and it'd be a beautiful setting for one.
Yeah.
And then you could use occasions on the square or Hell Springs Inn then as your reception area.
Right.
So trying to make the whole downtown into keeping, being able to have business for everybody.
Okay. So what's the timeline for getting the St. Mark's project completed?
We got a real ambitious goal there. We're hoping to have it done by October of 24.
Okay. That's pretty quick. When will they start working?
We've already received SBA grant, so it's just waiting for the renovations to start. We're also applying for a placemakers grant, which will also help us do some of the matching funds, because the Main Street being a nonprofit organization doesn't have a tremendous amount of extra money.
Yeah.
And so we're applying for a pacemakers grant, PLACE makers grant, that we hope will help with the match with that. And we've got that in the works, and we'll have it in by the end of December, and then hear back from it.
Okay. And so when does work start? Do you know when the work's going to start?
Not until we're just those historic preservation grants that we applied for the Ker House and for the St. Mark's are there were 35 grants that were granted across the state of Tennessee, and they're processing those grants right now. And so just when they send us a contract and say, and they sign the grant contract, we sign the contract, and then they will give us a start time.
Okay. Alrighty. And then I guess the last one is the Pow House. I know we've got
the Pow
office.
The grant for we applied for 2 historic preservation grants for Pow office. Those are maxed out at $45,000, and it's a 60-40 grant. And of course, the town of Rogersville owns that building, so they will be doing the grant. The grant just came open. What is today? It came open, I think she said last Friday. So we have till January to apply for that grant, and then we will be notified sometime in February or March, as to whether we receive the grant. Now, we've received 2 of them, so we're hoping that we will be able to get a 3rd one. And the work that we're looking at doing there is we've got the front side kind of put together, and the last grant we did demolition on the inside and got it ready. And so now we're going to be working on the back side. We've put a foundation under it. Put the original configuration of the building back to where it was, with the door in the center and the 4 windows on the front. And on the back, we've got that same configuration that goes back there. So we're actually looking for another log cabin that matches that era to be able to repair some logs back there.
Okay.
So, and then once we get that done, then we'll work on the interior of the house.
So how many more grants do you think it's going to take before that place is ready for public use?
Well, actually, we've been very frugal with the money, because when we got the estimates on the house, the foundation was going to be a whole lot more than what we thought it was, than the grant that we had applied for, and we got it in budget. And then the front part and all the changing out on the front was right under budget also. So we're hoping if we get the 60-40 match, that gives us about $65,000 to do the next phase, and then we'll start working on the interior. If we do well with these historic preservation grants, we might be able, once we get the Ker House and St. Mark's done, we might be able to apply for historic preservation grant to hopefully finish up the Pow Law Office.
Okay. And do you have a plan for the Pow Law Office?
Well, we've talked about several things. It could be, we're just speculating. We just, kind of waiting to see what the inside was going to be like, because we couldn't get in really to look at it. We maybe overflow for the inn, or ones that they're doing a lot of weddings. That could be a place for
dressing room.
For the brides or for the grooms. It could be when we have people come in from the state, it could be a place that we could rent out to them. Just trying to come up with something. I guess we're trying to preserve the building foremost, to keep it from falling down, and then come up with a plan. One stipulation of all these grants is it does have to be self-sustaining once you get them.
Right.
Once they give you that money, so we've got to come up with a plan to make sure, just like St. Mark's, that's why we're doing the co-worker space, because being able to rent that out will help cover utilities and have income to maintain the building for the future.
Okay.
And same with the Ker House, and so we'll have to come up with a plan to do the same thing with the Pow Law Office, because we don't want to renovate it and then it not be used and not taken care of,
right,
and fall to that state again. So.
Okay, and remind me again, what's the name of the place in Morristown that you're patterning what you want the Ker House to be?
It's the Renaissance Center in Morristown. It was an old schoolhouse.
Kind of like Kingsport.
I mean, it's not bigger scale than what we're going to do, but it's similar to what we want to do. And the Renaissance Center in Kingsport is something else. We've looked at some of the things that they have done. So in the business plan, we've kind of have those two as two programs that we will do similar things as they have done.
Kind of
and
like
they've been very
an artistic kind of event center type place.
Yes. It will also be, we've got a lot of different groups that want to come in and show a lot of the old crafts and skills that people had. And so that's one of the things that we had looked at is it's actually going to be called a Heritage Center. So we're trying to tie in some of the old ways of doing things, like quilt making, and then give them a venue to be able to come in and maybe bring groups in and make quilts and help children make quilts.
Sure.
Teach them a lot of the old arts and crafts that are being lost.
And the only other project going on is the Heritage Association's Rogers Tavern, which they're in fundraising mode right now, last I heard.
Yes, they actually applied for a Daughters of American Revolution grant to be able to do some stuff to that building that they uncovered back there to try to do some work on it. But I think they're still waiting on the grant on that one.